Hey, Christ Covenant family, hope you're having a good week. Want to kind of talk through where we're headed as far as sermon on Sunday. We're going to continue our series, Devoted, and being devoted to the church. As we, last week, we considered the question, what is the church? This week, we're going to consider the question, why the church? Why did God choose the church for his plans? Now, one of the most well-known kind of catechism questions is this: what is the chief end of man, or what is the purpose of man? And the answer to that question from the Westminster Catechism is this: the chief end of man is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. But I think you can also apply that to the church as well. Why the church? Well, because God has chosen to purchase for himself a people for his own possession who will glorify him and enjoy him forever. That is why God has ordained the church. And we'll see something of that in the text we're going to study Sunday. Ephesians chapter 3, we're going to work mainly from verses 6 through 13. And it's a wonderful text that talks about the cosmic nature of the church. And a stunning verse. Verse 10 is stunning. That through the church, the manifold wisdom of God might now be made known to the rulers and authorities in the heavenly places. In fact, pastor of New York City, Tim Keller, calls this one of the most spectacular things Paul ever said. So in teaching us that we glorify God, again, the why of the church, by making the message of the gospel known through the church, and we do this through our message, and we do this through our life together, or how we order ourselves in the church, we put the gospel on display. And what he's saying there in verse 10 is we don't just do this for the world to see. Paul's telling the church at Ephesus, you're doing this so that unseen powers will understand what is going on. Paul is saying that the church, the coming together as redeemed sons and daughters, who are now redeemed sons and daughters of God, as we looked at last week, who are now brothers and sisters with Christ, we are doing, as we come together as a church, we are telling the principalities and powers that their reign, this kind of current sway they have over the world, that their reign is coming to an end. The church is telling that kind of signal to the principalities and powers. Even churches like Ephesus, who were kind of house churches that were gathering together, there is something cosmic about what they are doing together. And we're going to look at that on Sunday. The church is God's plan for his purposes in the world, and that is why we exist. That is the why. And thus your connection to and your view of the local church matters. The church is to put the manifold wisdom of God on display, and thus how the church orders itself, or the church polity matters. And I talked a little bit about that this past Sunday, but we're going to unpack that more. And so Sunday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an exposition of Ephesians 3, 6 through 13. And then at the end, we'll do a short kind of theology class on the church as we consider the question of polity and order. What does the church say about how the church should kind of organize itself? And I'm going to go ahead and give a sentence that kind of explains what I think the answer to that question is, and then we'll unpack that sentence together on Sunday. And it's simply this: here's the most biblical, faithful church polity according to the New Testament. It is a church that is to be a Jesus-ruled congregationalism that is both elder-led and deacon-served. A Jesus-ruled congregationalism. I'm going to unpack what that means. That is elder-led and deacon-served. And so read through Ephesians 3. Even just consider looking at other parts of the New Testament, seeing what the New Testament says about the church. We'll work our way through many of those passages just briefly on Sunday as we come together and think, why the church? What is God intending for us to do as Christ's covenant together? And I hope I'll see you there Sunday as we work our way through it.